Friends, very good morning to everyone. Here in the pharmaceutical chemical industry, the quality is of most priority. It is not how much pure our drug is. We are more bothered about the small impurities what are present in it. The impurities, even though if it is in small quantity, it affects the efficacy of the drug drastically, and also it keeps the patient's safety at risk. That's why we have to follow strict norms for the you what all the drugs or what all the ingredients what we use about the quality of that product. Hence, a standard what to be followed or what to the standards for all the materials what we use in the manufacturing process of the drugs or in the process of formulation. We need a standard reference. That standard reference what people use in the world is pharmacopoeia. Pharmacopoeia, the word is derived from the Greek word. Pharmakon means a drug. Poin means make. To make drugs, what are the standards to be used? What should be the quality of the raw material? What should be the quality of the excipients? What should be the limit of impurities? All these things are mentioned in this pharmacopoeia. In turn, it is a legal and official book issued by the recognized authorities which is appointed by government of particular country. Every country has set up its own standards for the manufacture of drugs and the formulations. This pharmacopoeia consists of the list of pharmaceutical substances, its formulae, along with the descriptions and the standards which have to be used or maintained. What are the standards of the or the quality of the raw materials what we use in the manufacturing process are all mentioned. Every country has its own pharmacopoeia. There are a list of pharmacopoeias. Argentina has its own pharmacopoeia, Argentine pharmacopoeia. Accordingly, Austria has Austrian pharmacopoeia. Japan has its own pharmacopoeia, it's Japanese pharmacopoeia. United States has United States pharmacopoeia. Likewise, India also has Indian pharmacopoeia. The standard reference that we use is Indian pharmacopoeia. Today's subject of discussion is how this Indian pharmacopoeia evolved from its base till date. Around 200 years back, before the independence, we were under the colonial rule, and at that time we used to follow the Britain pharmacopoeia as the standard. And these pharmacopoeias, irrespective of the country of origin, has a common s- sections. It has three sections in this standard book. The first is the introduction, the second part is the monographs of the official drugs, and third part is the appendices. In introduction, it gives the pharmaceutical progress that has occurred in the recent past, and it also gives what has been changed from the previous edition, and it summarizes all the monographs which has been deleted from the previous edition and what all has been added, and also it gives why it has been added. And as we know, science is a dynamic and it goes on changing. What is found to be good today may become obsolete tomorrow. What is obsolete, we remove it, we delete it. What is new, we encourage it and we add it and we make it ours. It's a continuous process. There is a progress in pharma industry. There is a progress in the medical field. As it progresses, the standards also progresses. All these things are included in the pharmacopoeial introduction. The second part is the monograph. It gives all the information about the drugs, preparations, and the drug substances, like the title of the drug, its molecular weight, its category where the uses of the particular active pharmaceutical ingredient is mentioned, and the doses of the drug, the description of the molecule along with its structure, and the solubility profile, the standards of that active pharmaceutical ingredients what we use, and how to identify the particular drug or the active pharmaceutical ingredient, and how to identify that, the pH of it, and what are the types of impurities that may be present in the given active pharmaceutical ingredient, and also it gives the limit of that impurities. The impurities may be of organic or inorganic nature, and what are those inorganic and organic impurities, and what should be the limit of impurities that should be present in the material what we use as a raw material for the manufacturing of tablets or capsules or other formulations. And it also gives the quantitative estimation method, that is assay. And along with all these things, it mentions the storage conditions too. The appendices includes the apparatus used for tests and assays which we use, which are mentioned in the monograph. If there are any special apparatus, all those things are mentioned in the appendices. Other than the assay methods, some of the drugs may require microbiological tests and assays, and those are mentioned in appendices. We use various reagents and solution while carrying out the assay, while carrying out the limit tests or limit of impurities, and to test the standard and how they are prepared and what are the standards of the reagents and solution. Their procedures are given. Biological tests and assays which are used for certain drugs, physical tests and the method of their determinations, reference substances which has to be used, the chemical tests and assay and other general informations and tables forms the appendices. When there was a colonial rule in the pre-independence era, the British Pharmacopoeia was used as a standard text of reference in India. The Colonium Addendum for British Pharmacopoeia 1898 was published in the year 1900 and it appeared as Government of India edition in the year 1901, and this was followed almost for 45 years as the standard book of reference. In the year 1946, Department of Health of Government of India framed the committee, and R.N. Chopra was the chairman of this committee, and it included 9 members who are the experts in the field, and they prepared Indian pharmacopoeia list by taking British pharmacopoeia as a reference standard. And it was published as Indian Pharmacopoeia list, and that was used as the standard book of reference of standards. After the independence in the year 1947, the first Indian Pharmacopoeia was framed. The first edition was published in the year 1955. To publish this edition in the year 1948, Government of India appointed Indian Pharmacopoeia Committee to prepare a separate pharmacopoeia, a standard book of reference for India. The timeline given for them was around 5 years. They did extensive survey, and all the drugs are from excipients, ingredients used in the manufacturing process were all collected. The standards was fixed and it was published in the year 1955 under the chairmanship of Dr. B.N. Ghosh. This was the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia, and it paved the way for further improvement and the following of standards. The whole book was written in English, but however, the titles of the monographs were given in Latin. This first edition covered 986 monographs, and though extensive survey was made, many got omitted, and to include those, a supplement to this first edition was published in the year 1960. Whichever has not been included, which has got mixed, were again added to this Indian Pharmacopoeia list of the first edition. Later, the second edition was brought in the year 1966, And this was published under the chairmanship of Dr. B. Mukherjee. All the official titles which were given in Latin in the first edition was replaced in English, as the English is the universal standard of communication. The dosages mentioned in the first edition was in CGS system, and it was modified into the metric system, and the usual terms of the tablets and injections were also included. The formulations of drugs were followed immediately after the monograph of the active pharmaceutical ingredient, that is the drug, that is assay of paracetamol in the bulk drugs, which is followed by assay of paracetamol tablet, which would have been followed by assay of paracetamol injection, and so on and so forth. This second edition consisted of 274 monographs from the IP55 was deleted, which was found to be obsolete, which was not used, and 93 new monographs were introduced. And the supplement to this second edition was published in the year 1975, and in this supplement 126 new monographs have been included, and what are already present in the monograph, the 250 monographs were modified, the standards, the limit of impurities, and all those were amended in this edition. As and when we grow, the standards also grows depending upon the need and by the in the progress of science, and hence the changes what have been occurred has also been included from edition to edition. The third edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published in the year 1985 under the chairmanship of P.K. Pradhan. The first and second editions were having only single volume of the book, and the third edition was having two volumes and nine appendices. In this third edition, 261 new monographs were added, and 450 monographs which were obsolete were removed from the second edition. The addendum, that is the supplement to the third edition, was published in the year 1989, and in this addendum 1, the 46 new monographs are added, and 126 monographs which were already presented were amended. Addendum 2 was also published to this third edition in the year 1991. In this addendum, 62 new monographs were added, and 110 monographs which were already present were amended. The fourth edition was published in the year 1996 under the chairmanship of Dr. Nityanand, and it covered around totally 1149 monographs, which also included 294 new monographs, and it had 123 appendices included in it along with the monographs. And 110 monographs which were obsolete from the third edition was removed. An addendum was released in the year December 2000, and in this addendum 42 new monographs were added. The addendum 2 for the fourth edition was released in June 2003, and 19 new monographs were added into it. Along with this, IP 1996 veterinary supplements, which included 208 monographs and 4 appendices, were added into the fourth edition. Before that, the veterinary supplements were not included in the Indian Pharmacopoeia. The fifth edition was published in the year 2007 by the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, and it had 3 volumes. As and when the more and more new drugs are introduced into the market, new methods, new pharmaceutical ingredients have to be added, and went on. This all went on adding up the bulk of the Indian Pharmacopoeia. This was published in 3 volumes. As the number was increased, it was not able to accommodate in 2 volumes. The addendum to this edition was published in the year 2008. The volume 1 in this fifth edition, general notices and general chapters were included. In volume 2 and 3, general monographs of all the drug substances, dosage forms, and pharmaceutical aids were included. The volume 2 included all the monographs of the drug substances, starting from alphabet A to alphabet M, and then next onwards to Z in the volume 3. The sixth edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published in 2010 by Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, which also had 3 volumes like that of the fifth edition. The volume 1 consisted of notices, prefaces, structure of IPC, acknowledgements, introduction, and general chapters. Volume 2 included general notices and general monographs and dosage forms, and monographs on drug substances, dosage forms, and pharmaceutical aids from A to M, starting from alphabet A to alphabet M, and from N to Z in volume 3. This sixth edition also included vaccines and immunosera which were used for human use, the herb and herbal products, the blood and blood related products, biotechnology products, and other veterinary products were also added into the sixth edition. The seventh edition was published in the year 2014 by the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission on behalf of Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and this seventh edition had 4 volumes. The scope of the Indian Pharmacopoeia was extended. Additionally, the drugs used in the treatment of cancer and the drugs used in the treatment of retroviral infections and the formulations, the products of biotechnology, the indigenous herbs and herbal products, and the veterinary vaccines also were included in the seventh edition, along with other pharmaceutical substances which were already present in the sixth edition. These are all the new things which were added. And this seventh edition as a whole incorporated 2550 monographs, out of which 577 monographs were newly added, which consisted of active pharmaceutical ingredients, excipients, dosage forms, and herbal products. The eighth edition was published in the year 2018 on by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on behalf of Government of India. It consisted also consists of 4 volumes. It has incorporated 220 new monographs, which were to the already available 2550 monographs of the drugs in the 7th edition. And in these 2550 monographs, which were already present in the 7th edition, 366 monographs were revised, that is amended, and 7 were omitted. And this is this last edition which has been introduced for the Indian Pharmacopoeia, and we are following till date. And the 9th edition will be published in the near future. The standard reference book which we follow for you determining the standards of all the ingredients what we use in the manufacturing process in India, it is going on evolving and the process continues. The new edition let us await in the near future. Now you can appreciate the efforts of Indian government to upstandard and uplift the standards of the pharmaceutical substances that are used. The quality is the main concern in the pharma sector, as we are using for the human beings, and the small mistake, the small impurities may cause have drastic effect on the human health. That's why utmost care has been taken to improve the standards and also to maintain the same. We had a brief history of Indian Pharmacopoeia. In the next presentation, we deal with other aspects of pharmaceutical chemistry. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.